Well, hello there, everyone. My name is Charles, and this is the Geeks All Around Hangout discussion of Sleepy Hollow Season 2. I don't know what number episode, and I don't know the name of the episode. Yes, I'm so unprepared. I would like to say this before we actually get started. I'd like to apologize that we are not filming at our proper schedule at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Mostly because I was having some technical difficulties on my end, but now everything is working. So, to get things started, let's introduce the panelists. First off, I'd like to introduce my good, close, personal friend, LouRod76.
What up? This episode was number 13, and I can't pronounce the name.
Yeah. Yeah, who really pays attention to the titles of the episode? I mean, come on, really? And then, of course, the second and, well, another close personal friend, Isaiah Mullins.
Wow, that's it? I don't get nothing cool? Wait,
Yes.
who I got the whole welcome
Yeah,
wagon?
that's right.
I got like a busted donkey. Are you serious? Wow. Racism.
You are what you eat.
That's true.
Well, you're Isaiah. You're
That's
Isaiah. You're the guy with the fucked up logic that nobody really cares.
Exactly. Hell, look at my brain. I don't punch donkeys like Charles Wheaton. However, I did
Whatever
love
he's
this
saying,
episode.
folks,
It was really
I don't do that, yeah.
No one understood what he
Yes,
said
okay,
because
so,
he went digitized.
Yes, that is true. All right, so before we actually get into the meat of the episode, what are your initial thoughts of this episode?
I gave it a 7.8. I enjoyed it.
7.8 out of 10?
Yeah, nice little story for Ichabod and Katrina. Not too
Well,
overdramatic, just perfect.
I was just going to say thank you, LouRod, for actually agreeing with my mindset on this episode. It was an okay episode, but it wasn't the best episode in the season. To be honest, I'd have to say this episode felt like a procedural filler, is what it felt like. Like, it was just like a procedural, like, cop drama, where, like, they were dealing with a murder, and then that murderer just happened to be a ghost that lived inside of a painting. And, I don't know, no, the stuff that was going on between Katrina and Ichabod, I actually kind of liked that. It may have been the first stepping stones or maybe the foundations of possibly redeeming Katrina's character. Because, as we all know, to the three of us, and anyone out there in the internet world who actually wants Sleepy Hollow actually can't stand Katrina. That she is like, a lot of people, including myself, are starting to think, yeah, she needs to go. She does.
She's been the cancer this season.
Yeah, and I like Katrina in Season 1 probably because she wasn't in Season 1 that much. And she was only in it during scenes where she was able to talk through the mirror of purgatory and all that. But anywho, I think that this episode, what was going on between Katrina and Ichabod might have been something that could start building up to redeeming her character. Like, she might actually turn out to be not that bad close to the end of the season. But I will say this to anyone who may not know. Even though I think it is possible that Katrina might end up getting built up to be a much better character by the end of the season, with some current workings that are going on into the internal house house of, like, Fox, they're planning on changing how they're done with Sleepy Hollow, which I think is complete bullshit. And I think that whatever they do with Katrina, redeem her, don't redeem her, I think by sometime mid-season 3, none of it's going to matter because the show probably won't make it to its 4th season. Probably not.
Well, it did have its famous one scene of the day. The cop car leaving in front of the police station.
I don't understand if that's a joke or not. That might be my autism flaring up, so I'm not sure.
It's the running joke of the show.
Okay, back to me. No.
The famous scene.
Anyway, back to me, folks. True opinions, it's me, okay? Let me talk about some real good stuff. Okay, this episode, I have to give it like a bad son. I don't use numbers, I use actual words.
I know.
I would be on one thing.
Even though he was digitized for a second, I know exactly what he said. He said a badass son is what he said.
Yes. And it was like Charles said, it was a procedural show. And again, I don't disagree with all they're saying. However, this was actually a strong episode for all types of characters. And the villain of the episode was actually, to me, scary as fuck because he's a painting, but you know how it's going to play out.
Oh,
It felt like it was
so you're saying that the villain in this episode was scary as fuck, going like, "Ooh, spooky, a ghost covered in blood, spooky." How many times is that kind of thing done over and over and over again? It's been done so many times. It's like, meh, yeah. I mean, it's just nobody really cares about that kind of stuff. I would.
No. It's like this.
Look, what was good
Okay,
about this episode, I will admit, those painting scenes with the way they were going in and out through it, that shit was hot.
Yeah, it was cool. That was cool. But the villain himself was just too bland because it's been done in movies and other horror-based TV shows, not dozens. I'm talking hundreds of times before.
The villain was just some jackass with a knife.
Exactly.
No,
He's a dead serial killer. That's it.
They put himself reminding me of Hellraiser a little bit. Like Pinhead,
How?
he was trapped in the pit. Really be quiet. Anyways, he was like his own. The pain was his own. The pain was his prison, right? Like Pinhead, the box was his prison as well.
It's a little more. It's a little more complicated than that, Isaiah. I mean,
Jesus.
Let me explain.
Here we
First
go
off,
with the comparisons to some fucked up movies.
all right, Isaiah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go right here. I'm gonna go right here. I'm not done. It's just how can you compare the painting like universe sequences in this episode to fucking Hellraiser? First off, I did not see any chains with like gigantic hooks connected to them, and I didn't see a lot of really tough leather. So,
Okay. Let me drop some more
You ain't dropping knowledge,
Number
dude.
one.
You're dropping bombs.
Let me explain.
No, he's dropping a whole lot
With the
of
black
water.
Okay, number one, the blood scene, because reanimating himself through the blood puddles. That was really cool. It actually reminded me of Hellraiser's scenes where the lady blood scenes with the homeless guy messed up stuff, but that was really cool. And how the painter was hanging up people. It was like how he always hangs them up, like they're upside down or pretty much torturous ways. And so the blood and the knife itself remind me of Hellraiser because he was pretty much trying to break free. He was trying to be, he was a mass killer himself. So it was like a really interesting. Yeah.
You want to know what the blood reminded me of? It reminded me of Carrie.
How about this? The blood and the knife didn't remind me of Carrie, didn't remind me of Hellraiser. All it really reminded me of was just some batshit crazy serial killer holding a knife about to slit somebody's throat. That's about all it was to me.
Yes.
Because it's been done dozens, if not hundreds of times. It can't be compared to anything. And you can't compare it to Hellraiser. Right? You cannot compare it to Hellraiser, Isaiah, because it is, first off, no Cenobites, no Christopher Young music playing in the background, and no guy getting his face ripped off. Moving away from Hellraiser.
I didn't mean not comparing. It reminded me.
Moving away from Hellraiser and some crazy movie comparisons. All right,
you see what I mean, folks? That's not to go through every time. He always is assuming something that's not true.
I am not assuming shit.
Dude, it does nothing to do with Hellraiser.
Exactly.
It has no one with a fucking Pinhead walking around the street talking about come here and shit. Dude, it was just some stupid psychotic idiot who wanted to kill people in the 1700s and got trapped in a painting as his punishment.
Exactly. And that's not, you know what? Let's just accept this as just the classic, typical Isaiah logic and move the fuck on.
Haters are all just haters because they know I'm right.
Oh, God. But anywho, let's actually get, during that whole, folks, I apologize for that rant. And so this time we are actually going to get into the meat of the episode, which is what we have not been doing for the past 8 minutes. So, yeah, so let's get this show on the road. Okay, well, let's see. I would have to say in this episode, what was going on between Katrina and Ichabod was really cool, and I hope that it builds up to Katrina actually being redeemed and turned into a great character. However, the stuff that was going on with Abby, to be honest, I didn't really think this was an episode that was going to be focusing on Abby. She wasn't in the episode that much. most of the episode was focusing
Shame,
on
really.
Ichabod. Most of the episode was focusing on Ichabod and Katrina while they're at the Historical Society. Although the scene which had Jenny, where they were looking for the weapon that they would be able to use against this monster, that was freaking hilarious. I
That
gotta say.
was.
Yeah, that was probably
That
the
was
funniest moment in the entire
man,
episode, because she starts pulling out the enchanted bullets, and then she pulls out the last enchanted bullet, and the creature actually wakes up and like chokes her. She goes like, duh, and she like puts the bullet back in it, and then she goes like, "Thanks for telling me to leave one bullet in, Holly."
Oh god.
That
That
scene was funny.
Yeah,
remind me of Eat Dead.
yeah.
It's funny. But
My curiosity's got me wondering
But,
if Henry freed Frank Irving from his contract.
Well, the thing is, I think Henry is dead.
Sacrificed himself to bring someone else back to
I
life.
don't.
No.
But the whole thing here is we flash
No.
forward, it's 6 months.
No. If you remember, is that when they first found the sword of Methuselah, they said that whoever uses the sword to kill a great evil sacrifices their own life to kill that evil. So basically, when they kill the evil, the sword also kills them. They both die. And since Henry was the one to kill Moloch, I think Henry got killed by the sword of Methuselah.
Loophole he found.
Well, no. The only way it would ever be a loophole is if it was the same case as Irving, where he wasn't able to give up his own soul because it was no longer his soul. But Henry is still in control of his own soul. He's still in control of it.
Sure. Because he sold his soul to pretty much Moloch. When he pledged himself to
The
Moloch.
question
killed
is,
Moloch.
how does Irving come back?
Well, I don't know.
Exactly.
All we know at this
See?
point is that Irving walked into that convenience shop, started drinking that milk and eating that stuff. I don't remember what it was, and then he ended up walking some Twinkies, and then he walked into the police station.
It was
and
Twinkies.
got arrested. That's all we know at this point. We don't know how he got brought back, and I don't think we're going to find out until right at the end of the season.
And we also learned that there's 6 months have passed since his death.
She's not 6 months, 6 weeks.
She said 6 months.
Yeah.
She said weeks.
I could have swore she
same
said
difference.
months.
She said weeks.
Either way.
She said weeks.
I'm gonna have to play that back.
Yeah.
It was. I just have to make one comment on that one. When I saw Abby and Captain Irving, I hope I said his name right. It had really. I love that scene between those two characters. That was really great.
Yeah, it was like he was truly helpless. Like he didn't know how to do it. He was
also good emotion
her for help.
between those two characters.
He was begging her for help. Yeah.
Yeah, I really love that a lot. It was like that was actually true moments that the character was actually looking out for. He needed help the most.
Yeah.
And she couldn't do nothing. That was actually tearing her apart. So I love that. a lot.
She can't trust
I
him
love that scene.
because Abby saw him die. She and her friends buried him 6 weeks ago. So for him to see him back from the dead, the only way that could have happened, according to what she knows, would have to be something supernatural and something that is not good. Although there is one other thing that could have brought him back besides Henry. One other thing, and it's probably worse than Henry. And that is Orion. An angel has the power of resurrection. It can bring people back from the dead. And so I think that Irving. That's my theory. I think that maybe Orion was the one that brought him back.
We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
I don't have a good speculation.
But you did notice how they were they're hesitant to want to use Katrina to do a full demon scan.
Yeah, because I mean, hell, when Abby and Jenny were having that discussion at Abby's desk, he said, like, yeah, I know that. I mean, I'm not even the Katrina's biggest fan, but she's useful in cases like this. Yeah. So, yeah. So I think that I don't know. I mean. Okay, so yeah, I'm actually losing my train of thought here because Isaiah distracted me.
It's cool.
Yeah, but anywho, let's see. What else? Let's see. Oh yes, Captain Reyes. Captain Reyes is back.
No, Mark, if I
Yeah,
hated this
she's back.
episode.
Whoop-de-doo.
Well, no. The thing is that I actually kind of
He
like
was very
Captain
downplayed, which is
Reyes.
sad.
I actually kind of like Captain Reyes. I
So
mean,
do I.
at first I thought that she was a bit of a hard ass and a bit of a bitch, but then the more I began to the more I began to see her and everything, I actually started to come up. I mean, Isaiah knows what this was. I came up with this theory before you joined the Hangouts, Lou Rod, is that I think that that Reyes actually knows what's going on. She knows about the battle between good and evil. She knows about all this stuff. The only reason why she hasn't done anything with Abby and the others is because she doesn't know that Abby and the others know. She's trying to keep it a secret from them, and Abby's trying to keep it a secret from her. And I think that she is actually a part of a group that's actually been trying to fight this apocalypse for who knows how long, and they have more experience in it than Abby and Ichabod and Katrina and Jenny. And that's what I think. That would be a very interesting theory. It's probably wrong. It's probably very wrong. But that's my theory about who Reyes is. And that's what makes me think that Reyes is actually pretty awesome. Shut up, Isaiah.
No, to your point, you don't know. I mean, it's true. It could be true. I just feel she's a person that fills in screen time.
I don't know. I mean, to be honest, I mean, I don't know. Just, when she is when she's a hard ass to Ichabod or anyone else, I actually think that she's just being what her profession requires of her. She's being a police she's being a police captain, and sometimes you got to be a hard ass. So I accept that. And of course, when she ended up meeting Katrina Crane, where she said, like, "Excuse me, miss," it's like, "Who are you?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm Katrina Crane." And it's like, "Oh, Ichabod Crane actually has a wife. I did not know that." And then she said, like, "Oh, we just recently reunited from a prolonged separation." And I'm like, yeah, you were locked in purgatory for the past 250 years. So
right,
he woke up from the dead.
Yeah. But no, I don't know. Just and I gotta say, this is actually gonna be kind of weird. But Katrina in that dress she was wearing, she looked good. She looked really good.
I agree with that.
But I gotta say that's pretty much all Katrina has going for her at this point is her looks, and that's it.
She has some brains when she knows how to use them.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know.
when she's not okay. Oh my God, we forgot one person. Oh,
who? Oh, is it who I'm thinking of? Is it who I'm thinking of?
Harriet the Spy. Harriet the Spy.
What?
Who?
Harriet the Spy. The flashbacks.
Oh my God, no, that's Michelle Trachtenberg from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. She played Dawn, Buffy's sister.
I just know her name was Abigail.
Yeah, Abigail Adams, who was the wife of President John Adams.
Are you still sure it wasn't Harriet the Spy?
She might have been in Harriet the. She was in the movie Harriet the Spy, but she was also in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. She played Buffy's sister Dawn. I think she first showed up in season 4.
Oh, she was in Snow Day as well. She was in Snow Day.
I don't freaking care. That's all I know is that's who she is. I know her name is Michelle Trachtenberg, and I gotta say she was awesome in this episode. Michelle Trachtenberg, I have not seen her in anything in years, and so when I see her in this episode, I'm like, yes, that's Michelle Trachtenberg. I mean, literally, I was laying down on my couch watching the TV, and I was like, wait a minute, is that? Holy crap, that's Michelle Trachtenberg. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mr. Whedon with his actress and actor knowledge.
Damn it. I don't know. I only know their names because they played memorable characters that I remember. Like I know her character name from Buffy the Vampire Slayer named Dawn, who happened to be a key to be used to create the apocalypse or something. I don't know.
So she was Dawn the Slayer?
No, she was supernaturally implanted. Wow. No, this is not a Buffy discussion. This is a Sleepy Hollow discussion.
You talking about me. You really talking about me.
Hey, at least I caught it pretty early on. But no,
Oh, please. Yeah, right. It took you forever. It took you forever.
But no, I
Don't
was only
throw that.
saying who it was because I was
Don't
trying
throw
to
that.
explain to you that that's where I know her from. I wasn't actually talking about any of the details about Buffy the Vampire Slayer. But
What's her
Regardless.
name? Oh, she's on Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
anywho, back to it. I actually thought that the flashback scenes in Sleepy Hollow with Michelle Trachtenberg, also known as Abigail Adams, was freaking awesome. It actually kind of created some more insight into Katrina and Ichabod's friends. Where Katrina actually considered Abigail Adams to be one of her closest friends, probably to the point of being a sister, and that is very cool. And also that Abigail Adams was a bit of a detective.
Right.
That she would actually try to find out who this Mr. Colby is, who was the name of the blood-covered ghost killer. So, yeah.
Right.
And I thought that was very cool. And also, when they found out when they found out how Colby got put into the painting, I was like, huh? It's just because Katrina had found this letter written by Abigail mentioning how they were able to defeat Colby, or at least imprison him in the painting, and they ended up using a reverend named Reverend Hap, I think was his name.
He looked like the same Reverend from the first season.
First season.
Yeah, but thing is that the Reverend was a part of the witches' coven. He was with them, and I'm like, okay, look. In the first season, when they explained that the witches were actually allies to the actual witches, they were allies with the actual colonial people, and the thing that confuses me is that historically speaking, outside the boundaries of Sleepy Hollow back then, if a person was discovered to be a witch or even suspected of being a witch, they would be hung and possibly burned, and it's just to see, and most of the people that were doing stuff like that would be the people of the church doing that. So to have a reverend to be a part of that is extremely confusing and a little weird, to be honest.
Well, this isn't going to go by true historical facts.
A lot of the stuff that's been going in the flashbacks is not historically accurate.
This is one point where I'm going to say, take it with Isaiah logic.
Oh, God damn it. You know what? No. I will never do that.
But this is where you have to. This is where Isaiah logic will actually apply.
Isaiah logic doesn't apply to fucking anything.
That is true too, but in this case, Isaiah's logic applies because they're going with reverends and nuns and all this other crazy bat shit going against some of the true historical facts. So we'll let Isaiah pass on this one.
God damn it. You know, this is the only pass you are ever getting, Isaiah.
I don't know about soaking it.
God damn it. I don't know. Just, all right. So they managed to trap Mr. Colby in the painting, which was very cool, by the way. That was very cool how they did that. And then, I don't know. I mean, what was it? When the painting restorer guy, Grant, I think was his name.
Grant,
When he got killed and he was hanging from the chandelier, was one of his legs bent or was it completely cut off?
No, it was bent. But that was a weird bent. It's like, holy shit. How'd they get his leg to be like that? Because, boy, that should look broken.
Well, no, the thing is, I've actually bent my leg back that far before, and I will say that it was probably one of the worst kinds of pain I have ever felt in my life. But the thing is that when that happened and I was able to get up and the leg was still injured, I limped my way home. My leg was not broken, but it was hurting like hell. It hurt like hell to put pressure on it.
Yeah, so that was a strong ass chandelier too.
Oh yeah. I don't know what kind of chain that chandelier was hooked to, but damn it, that must have been some strong ass metal.
And that wasn't really a lot of blood for somebody getting a cut in the neck.
Well, that's the thing. That was the whole point of the whole monster thing. That was the whole point. Is that he was killing these people, taking their blood, and that's it. So of course there'd be no blood because he needed that blood to finish the painting.
Oh, but hey, when they first showed the painting and it started bleeding, that shit was hot.
Um. Okay. So let's move on. Folks.
It was hot in a Ghostbuster way.
Let's move on from Lou Rod's very disturbing, morbid sexual interest or whatever.
It
So.
has
Yeah.
nothing to do with that kind of language there, Whedon.
uh, okay, but all right. So let's see. Beyond that, I don't know. Just.
I mean, the next scene you got Ichabod and Katrina looking at the painting, and then the painting has the knife, and then next thing you know, the painting is staring at them. All
Well,
that shit was cool and creepy at the
it
same
was cool. It was cool. It was very creepy. And then also Miller. It was Grant's boss, Miller. He and Ichabod were trying to get out of the place. They were in the kitchen. Then Ichabod looked away for a second, then looked towards where Miller was and noticed he was gone. Ran towards the painting, and you see Miller getting pulled into the painting.
That scene there was badass.
Yes, it was, and it felt like a classic 80s horror movie. Something across the lines of maybe Nightmare on Elm Street, maybe?
Okay, I guess.
All
If
right,
you're gonna
I'm
get
not.
pulled
I'm not.
into
I'm
a
not.
dream,
Yeah, I'm not going to compare it to Hellraiser because then that's just going to
there's no
give.
comparison.
I'm not going to do that because that's just going to give Isaiah the satisfaction, and I really don't want to do that. But okay, but I don't know. Just beyond all that stuff, I mean, no, I mean, there was the stuff going on between Abby and Jenny, but we've already really touched on that. And then Irving, Abby brought in Irving's wife, or should I say ex-wife, and to be
I don't know
honest,
if they're divorced.
no, they are divorced. They got
Were they divorced?
they technically they got divorced before the show started to air, and by the time we met his wife in the first season, they had already been divorced.
Oh, I thought they were just separated.
No, they were divorced.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, that's actually part of the reason why that I don't know. I mean, I don't really remember. All I know is that they were not together, but I could have sworn they
Yeah,
were
I know they
divorced.
weren't together. I thought they were just separated, and he was trying to reconcile, trying to spend more time with his daughter. And that's why all that freaky shit was going down.
Yeah.
Then
Oh.
he got pulled into the sleepy hollowness.
Hmm. Okay. So let's see. With Ichabod's wife, not Ichabod's wife, but Irving's wife. So let's see. What else? What else did we not touch on, Lou Rod?
Well, the next thing that happens is Ichabod and Katrina put the spell to get themselves into the painting.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they go into the painting. Which, to be honest, if there was any kind of comparison, it would be closer to Nightmare on Elm Street because going into that painting felt like a dream world, is what it felt like, and that'd be Nightmare on Elm Street. But damn it, now Isaiah has me doing these damn comparisons.
But that's not a bad comparison in a way, because that element kind of felt nightmarishly to the point of a Nightmare on Elm Street scene. They had to, use magic to get into that realm, to go save the man's life by the skin of their teeth. And she pulls them back out, but
Wow,
at the
really?
same time, she pulled Freakazoid out with her.
Yeah. Yeah, just
And like, oh, you can't compare this. You can't compare. It's like, and then out of nowhere, you start comparing. Wow, wow, wow.
Hey, but the way he rose
Wow.
up from the ground, that was cool.
yeah. And to be honest, in Isaiah's defense, in that scene where he was coming out of the blood pool, that actually did remind me of Hellraiser. Because there was a scene in the first Hellraiser.
Let's
Frank.
mute him.
Yeah, it was Frank. It was crap. I don't even remember the character's name. Christy. It was Christy. Yeah, her uncle Frank basically escaped hell and came into our world by basically putting his body back together through this goop. His skeleton formed, his meat like stuck back to his body. It was a very graphic scene, and that scene with the blood wasn't as graphic, but it was pretty much the same kind of physics, and which is like fucked up horror physics.
Wow.
And Yeah, so that scene did remind me of that particular Hellraiser moment. Shut up, Isaiah.
So they come back. They're back into reality.
Wow.
And then here comes Abigail out of nowhere,
And
shoots
she
him,
she shoots
shoots him at least twice.
no, she
And then
shoots him once.
was it just once?
She shoots him once and it hits him in the shoulder. Hits him in
And
the
then I
shoulder.
Yeah, just
know,
one.
then Ichabod says, the painting, shoot the painting. And she shot the painting like, what, four or five times?
No, it was 5 times. No, it was 6 times
really?
actually. No. It was 4. Crap, I don't even really remember. I
I know
think
it was 4 straight down.
no. What it was
Perfect
is
shots
that
in a line.
she shot the hands, the feet, the heart, and then the head is what she shot in the
Oh,
painting.
damn. I mean, a few more bullets, what the hell? We could unload the clip.
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, those kinds of pistols hold about 10 clips, and she only used up about what, maybe
Right.
6 or
Burn the
7
paint.
clips,
Just burn it.
6 or 7 bullets.
I believe she's walking around with a 45, so it takes about 16. It takes 15 in the clip and probably 1 in the chamber.
So about 16 bullets. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I thought those kinds of bullets, those kinds of
Yeah.
clips would only hold maybe a max of 10 rounds.
No, 16.
Oh, okay.
No,
I
they
mean,
hold
there's
more.
also clips that you could buy that is extended, and it would
But
hold
the,
more. But obviously, the police force doesn't believe in guerrilla warfare.
Yeah. But anywho, okay, so then they managed to defeat Mr. Colby, and Katrina,
Colby.
then Katrina says her final goodbyes to Abigail, Abigail Adams, and then that was it. That
Hey,
was
but
the end.
do you like the way Abby's reasoning for showing up was?
I don't really remember. Was it like you should answer? You didn't answer your phone or something?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Since you didn't answer your phone, I decided to pop up.
yeah.
Right. And also, you've got one thing, Charles. You've got one thing.
What?
What?
Captain Irving was pretty much going to be.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Captain Irving's going to be clear of all charges.
Shut up. I want to say this. After all the mess that Captain Irving might be getting, or it has been getting, with this whole cop killing thing, which I don't think it was his fault. It wasn't his fault. It was his freaking daughter that did it, or Nctif, the demon that was possessing his daughter, Nctif. And yeah, Captain. What was it? Like some defense attorney, or was it actually the DA?
district attorney.
It was the district attorney that found evidence
No,
that
the prosecution's going to
exonerates.
drop all charges.
It exonerates Captain Irving, meaning that he could go free. After everything that's been happening to him, he could walk away scot-free.
Yeah. Like,
Which to be honest, that would have been great if Irving was still alive. But at this point, I don't think he is. I think he's only being kept alive via his contract to Henry, or maybe to Orion. Maybe Orion keeps him alive or something. I don't know. But I think the only reason why he's alive is because our enemies want to use him for something, and that is not good. So yeah, he could be alive. He could get off scot-free. But I think that the enemy is the one that kept him alive. And if we manage to defeat the enemy and save Irving's soul, I think if that happens, Irving is technically dead, so he would just die all over again. So whenever they choose to save Irving, that'll be the last time we will ever see him. I think that after they save his soul or save his life, he will respectfully die again, and we will never see him again.
All I know is when they free Orlando Jones, he better go get a haircut.
Yes, please.
He's looking rough.
Yeah.
He look at all those masks. Like,
he's been in like a pine box under like 6 feet of dirt for like the past 6 weeks.
I still believe more time has gone by.
No, I remember distinctly that Abby was telling Irving's wife that he died 6 weeks ago.
Dude, 6 weeks was last week, or the week before that, when they met Orion. So more time than that has had to have passed.
That is true. So it could have been Wow, that's a good question. Could have just been 1
I
month.
could have swore she said 6 months. I could be wrong. It could be 6 weeks. I would have to play the video back or try to find that particular clip
Yeah.
or see if it's in the wiki page.
Yeah. Okay, well, I think we've pretty much touched on pretty much everything there is to say about this episode. Because, like I said at the beginning of this episode, it was a good episode. It was not the best episode in the season. And to be honest, there was some things to talk about, but not as much as I had hoped. And so, at this point in the show, we go into wild speculation.
Yay.
Lou Rod, what's your wild speculation?
Henry's going to make a magnificent return.
Well, that's not really wild speculation. It's pretty much a given.
That's my wild speculation. Stop ruining it.
Isaiah, what's your wild speculation?
Exactly, Charles. Finally, get the real.
Okay, that concludes the end of our show. Because
ideas and everything. No. I have a good one. Okay.
Get to
Henry is gonna come. Henry is gonna come back. Henry is gonna come back, but through Irving himself, because the contract is. Remember, what he said, it could have been, if we think, if you remember, Conduit, Demons can't use as a hosting or pretty much come back to life or.
Isaiah, time out.
Henry's actually using them.
Time out.
Isaiah, I had
Speak
to
slowly so we can understand you because you're speaking too fast and you're becoming roboto digitato.
Yeah, and I had to check the time on my clock. That's not on my wrist. So yeah. But anywho.
All right, fine. I'll say it briefly and shortly.
Go.
What we say? Henry is going to come back through using Irving's contract /deal/body.
That could work.
Oh, so what you're saying is that Henry's body is dead, but his soul is possessing Irving.
I could see that.
Exactly. You see?
Whoa.
It's
Wow. Oh.
like a virus.
All right, you know what? I am definitely going to regret saying this in the long run. I got to say that is the best speculation that we have for this episode. Holy crap. I didn't even really even think of that. I mean, all I thought about was that Orion was the one that brought Irving back. But
that could be possible too.
Yeah.
Only time will tell.
Exactly. Okay, so that concludes the end of our wild speculation section because there's only 3 people in this hangout. So
what's yours?
So here's the thing that we got to do. This is as the saying goes, all good things must come to an end. And so we shall end the Geeks of the Round Hangout discussion of Season 2, Sleepy Hollow, episode, I don't know.
13.
Episode 13, and the name of the episode I can't pronounce. So thank you for watching. And one thing left before we go. Guys, do we have anything to pimp?
Yeah, we come back tomorrow night for The Flash.
Exactly, yes. Okay, so with that being said, folks, thank you so much for checking out this newest addition to the Geeks of the Round library of videos. We will see you next week for an all-new episode of Sleepy Hollow Hangout Discussions, and be sure to check us out tomorrow for the Geeks of the Round Hangout discussion for The Flash, like Lou just said. Unfortunately, Agent Carter was not on tonight, so we will not be having any Hangout discussions for that, but we might be able to see you at some point not that far into the future for that.
Thursday night.
Thursday night. Yeah, Thursday night for Arrow. So once again, I know I've said this twice before, so hey, what's the problem with saying it again? Once again, I'd like to thank all of you for checking us out for Geeks of the Round. If you like this video, well, give it a like. If you really like this video, why not favorite it? And if you really love all of our videos, why don't you go ahead and subscribe? Thank you for watching. We will see you next week.
And also share this video.
Yeah.